Mexico is a place to come. And, if you read about the dumb stuff in your news source, change the channel, sign up, come down. This is a fabulous place to be.
Don't be afraid to sign up for the Caravan. It's the best way to travel, I think, particularly if it's your first time. I look at it like I hired a fishing guide for you go somewhere to go fishing for the first time. You're much better off going with an experienced person first, at least learn something about it. And then if you want to go back on your own, then you got some knowledge behind you to make it a better trip. So don't be afraid to do it.
Jim, what attracted you to signing up for this caravan to Baja?
I knew I was going to come to Baja for a few weeks this winter, and I didn't like the idea so much of coming on by myself. And when I learned that Chris and Lindsay were having this trip for 40 days, I thought I got to sign up. That's going to be a lot of fun, and it has been a wonderful, fun trip. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I've enjoyed it immensely, met some really nice new friends. That was one thing I was hoping for, was to traveling this long with these people, you get to know them and become good friends with them. That's been very, very pleasing for me.
We had said that we wanted to go down the Baja, but we never quite could figure out how to do that. So when I saw it, I said, do you want to go down the Baja? And he said,
Hell yeah.
sure. So it's like, okay, we signed up.
We were a little nervous about coming to Mexico right now with all the stuff that we've regurgitated over the last 40 days. And I was delighted to find people caring, loving, willing to share a drink or a tortilla and just talk about life. It's been great.
I was excited about the whales. When I saw your videos and people were reaching out and touching whales, I'm like, oh, I got to do that.
Oh, I didn't think that had happened at all. And there we were, touching whales.
Yeah, that was pretty, that was never in a lifetime did I think I was doing that.
The whale watching was certainly a good memory, which is something I had never done before in my life. And actually being able to pet the whales was a pretty big thrill. And I don't get thrilled that easy. So that will always stick in my mind as a good memory. And of course, every day with everybody is a good memory. And there's some days better than others, but it was just such a neat trip all the way through. I never had a bad moment in the whole 40 days.
And I think that's another thing that I like is that it wasn't just about, it was about culture. I loved the dancing. That night was very special. You had the water stuff going on. You had just a lot of history, good food, the places to eat. It wasn't just one thing. You knew where all the washing machines were. It just you kind of covered a very broad spectrum of things that people like to do.
You were able to accommodate, a variety of rigs. And it was, rarely was it a panic to even pull in for gas. And you knew the restaurant stops, you knew where the pullovers were, and you could shoot from the hip a little bit. When the group wanted to do something, you were thoughtful enough to consider it and accommodate it when you could.
If someone was on the fence about signing up, can you think of what you'd tell them that would make them join a Baja Amigos caravan?
It's very nice to have someone else do all the planning for you, especially if you've never been to a place before, such as Baja. There's so much you don't know, and a lot of mistakes you could potentially make that be pretty big mistakes sometimes. And so going with someone who knows the lay of the land and knows what they're doing is very helpful. If you're on the fence about joining the caravan, put aside any worries you may have. It's easy to get along with the people because everybody that's on the trip, they're here with the same type of ideas and desires.
Don't even think about it. Just sign up. You're
What-
gonna love it.
What is your worry? And then take that worry and write it down and give it to Chris and Lindsay right at the beginning. But don't make a decision not to go because of that worry.
Just don't be afraid of the caravan deal. I never, before this, I never thought I'd be a caravan kind of person, but it's changed my mind. It's a very nice way to travel. Mostly because these are small, intimate caravans. These aren't caravans with 50 people, and it's a real cat herding situation every day. With these small, intimate caravans like this, it's very worth your time to get involved with.
Listen, we've traveled in groups. We've traveled in a group of 80 or 90, which was way too many. Way too many. And this was small.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
The size of the group, incredibly important.
Yeah.
It's a very good learning experience. If you've never been to whether it's Baja or in any other part of the country, the world, I guess. Going the first time, if you're going with someone who's been there and knows their way around and got a little bit of a handle on the local language and stuff, it sure takes a lot of stress off of you as a traveler, because those kind of things, boy, not knowing how to speak the language or read some of the road signs or the menus in the restaurants and stuff, boy, if someone's there to help you with that's just makes the trip a lot more enjoyable for you. The lack of stress is just worth whatever you pay for, because in my opinion, I've had zero stress on this trip, and that's a really nice way to travel. Very pleasant. Just sit back and let Chris worry about everything.
We agreed to that in the beginning. We
Yeah,
told you.
yeah, and that's right. In the beginning, Chris did say that he'll take care of all the stress, and we just go along for the ride and enjoy each other's company and stuff. And that's exactly the way it's transpired.
I've decided the Sea of Cortez is an absolutely gorgeous piece of water. Wherever you are on the Sea of Cortez, it is gorgeous.
We've enjoyed the Sea of Cortez, and we know it on the north end for so many years. We've been there, and now it makes me want to spend more time here.
Yeah, I don't want to continue on too much about how wonderful it was, but it's been a very memorable trip. If you can get out on the water and go see some of these things, the places we stay and camp, and the beach days are very, very enjoyable. And if you're from cold country and you're coming on a trip like this to get into some warmer weather, that's a real nice bonus in the whole deal. Because it's not cold here.
Did you ever feel at all like you were in danger or could find yourself in
No,
danger?
not for a second. That was one of those points of stress that Chris took care of. Taking us in places where safety is not an issue. No, I never once felt worried about my own safety anywhere. It is a big myth. The Mexican people are very friendly, more than happy to help, as long as you can communicate with them, but yeah, as long as you're not, as in any town, any country, there's places you don't want to be at night or something, in your own hometown, there's places like that, it's no different here. But never felt for a moment I was unsafe.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're planning Yeah, we'll be back. I'll tell you this. I was a little incredulous that you could pull this off. Because we were worried about meeting up with people that we didn't know, and we come to be delighted with the group. All of us very different, as you found out. You and Lindsay, I'm not sure I met two more caring people, interested in our well-being. I mean, you said it one day, just leave the worrying to us. We'll do that.
And we did.
And we did. And trust me, we're not worried about being in Mexico. If this happens to be here, it's the first thing I'm gonna always tell people. You know, I'm more worried about being on the west side of Salt Lake City than I am anywhere in Mexico. But you took the pain for many people. You were able to do this. And my hat is off to you and Lindsay for the kindness, the care, and just the consideration for the whole group.
You listened, and that was important.
Yeah.
You've always listened. You might have had a reason why maybe we weren't going to do that. But you and Lindsay were always good to listen.
We actually travel best, the two of us. In all honesty, I mean, we travel all over the world. We fly somewhere, we rent a car, we go and we do, in a similar fashion to what we've done here, pick a country, Google Maps does all that.
We just never know what we're doing.
We did have some concerns about a caravan, and the biggest concern is, you know, we had a dozen people that we had no idea about. And I am pretty positive that one of the major reasons why this worked was you and Lindsay. You guys are very special.
Well, we talked about before we came, you know, what are the people we really don't like? What if people don't like us? You know, that's a long, 40 days is a long time if you don't like a group of people.
We had contingency plans because, as you know, I'm not bashful about driving here. It's not a big deal.
We said, well, we can always just leave the caravan.
We can leave the caravan early. And
notice here we are on day 38.
Oh, don't cry.
No, you should just
We're
be
and
proud,
we're
be
not
proud.
blowing smoke, and you can cut that out.
Yeah.
It's you and Lindsay. I was incredulous when I watched your YouTube video. I mean, it was inspiring. We had a great time. We drank wine and watched it for 2 or 3 nights and thoroughly enjoyed it. But I was incredulous that in real life you two could be as you are, and you are remarkable. Your love for culture is similar to ours. You're not bashful. I think you bent over backwards. I'm not sure I would have done the same as you. And congratulations.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, yeah.